Well, it will through providing them access to information so that they can know how the process works. And I'm glad you spoke to that. I mean, in clear, the A in that clear, that access is not just for workers, but also businesses. What the businesses, especially the smaller businesses, lack is they don't have the internal infrastructure. By allowing us to put this on our website, now they can get access to information that they might not have in times past, that will help them strategically know how to better position themselves to submit a bid, to work with a prime contractor, to interface with our office. So our goal ultimately is through CLEAR to lower hurdles that exist. We recognize that we're dealing with public money, so we can't eliminate all hurdles, but we can certainly bring them down from a level that appears to be so high that they don't have to jump over them, but they can walk over them, and then they can move much swifter through the environment they find themselves in.
Thank you. With any other questions or comments, thank you very much. No formal actions needed on this. It was an informational item, so thank you very, very much for your time and for the great work that all of you are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a number of items, which many of which I want to put on consent, but before we do that, we will take public comment on the different items, and we'll do public comment and general public comment at the same time. So we have Mr. Herman, if you would like to come up, you can have 2 minutes, one for the items and one for public comment.
Start off with general public comment. This city deals unconstructively with people with disabilities. It is to their advantage to acclaim and make judgment against a person's disability because the way they move. And this is a violation of Health and Safety Code Section 19955, Government Code 4450. Mental health, bitch. And under 42 U.S.C. 12101 ETSEQ, for the record, Jordan, we're dealing with 42 U.S.C. 1983 at every public meeting. UNRWA Act violations that you forcibly remove me from meetings because you can't deal constructively with me because dumbass fools want to be unreasonable with the public. So fuck you, Englander. And now I'm going to go into my service requests here on item number 2. Here we're talking about engineering design for a Taylor Yard bikeway. Pedestrian bridge. Well, you first need to accommodate all the homeless people that are encamped near this area and provide them housing with the $1.2 billion for relocation fees, niggers. And then I go into the final subject and all other subject matter on this criteria that I signed up on every item, every time, because I butt into the butt of business, because I got a butt. So item 8, final decision. Woo. Now that we're going to have Pink Square, you should allow those signs to say no sexual harassment, no sexual assaults, and stop fucking with women who are asleep in a car and remind yourself how fucking stupid you are.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Spindler.
So it's 2 minutes total for everything, or just the items?
Total.
Oh, you're cutting us down to 1 fucking minute for all the fucking items, huh? Yes, tyrants, okay. You get the bull, you get the horn sometimes. So, we had on the agenda the Pink Square. And this is where Mike Bonin got AIDS, because he was there fucking in the ass in the Pink Square, and that's where he got his AIDS. So when we have the Pink Square...
Could you stay relevant to the items on the table?
Make a condom machine in Pink Square,
Not relevant
so
to
when
the
they
topic.
fuck in the ass, they can have a condom. And that's the important thing about Pink Square.
Okay, general public comment time.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay. So the baby with the fucking gavel can't handle shit. Look at the big Jew. Look at the big Roo. The only one with the pants on here is Nuri. You know that? You fucking gutless, spineless fucking men on this council are nothing but a bunch of fucking cunts. That's all you are. And you can't handle the truth. You can't handle what I say, what Mr. Herman says. You can't handle shit. And you know why? Because you can't handle your women at home. That's why. Your women tell you, go out and take out the trash, Bob. Go out and take out the trash.
It's got to be on items related to, even if
It
not
is.
items
I'm
here,
talking
it has
about-
to be related to the
You're
business
cutting
of the
my
committee.
time off, number one. You're disrupting the meeting. This is your final warning, asshole. So when you take out the trash, which is what we're talking about, you are the trash. Make Nuri the president and send your dumb fucking ass home.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure everyone here is enlightened by the comments. Sorry, you'll never get those 2 minutes back. Next, we have Bill Watkins. Please don't disrupt the meeting, Mr. Spindler.
Oops. Good afternoon. Yeah, the language is hard. It's hard to follow stuff like that sometimes. Please, Wayne, thanks. Anyways, I wanted to talk about security on the gang side of what you guys do. Again, I alluded to something a couple weeks ago. Excuse me, guys. Wayne, please.
Mr. Spindler, it's your last warning. All right, please remove Mr. Spindler. Please remove Mr. Spindler. Goodbye. Please leave faster. You're wasting our time. Mr. Spindler, stop talking and leave, please. Leave. Goodbye. Goodbye. Get out. Get out. Please remove him faster. Get out. Sorry about that, Mr. Watkins.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for standing up. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. It's really hard. I'm formerly homeless, with a college degree, and things didn't work out the way I wanted. But I'm out trying to clean up sidewalks and streets. And to gangs, I almost didn't subscribe to these meetings because it said gang reduction. It just is a silly concept to me. I almost jumped in with the Pasadena Bloods years ago. I had cornrows and jewelry. I was rapping, and that's what I was doing. So I know about the scene a little bit. I just want to read John Hancock real quick on security. John Hancock said, "Security to the persons and properties of the governed is so obviously the design and end of civil government that to attempt a logical proof of it would be like burning tapers at noonday to assist the sun in enlightening the world. Government is about security. We need a budget, whatever the number is, that reflects that, and we can get rid of gangs, graffiti, illegal fireworks, litter. It all goes away if we budget right. So I'm going to keep pushing for a really thoughtful budget to get rid of these issues, not reduce. God bless you all. Thanks for the time."
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Okay, colleagues, I'd like to ask that we do items 3, 4, and items 6 through 9 on consent. Seeing no objection, and our other 2 items are going to be relatively brief today. So if we could move to item number 2, Ms. Dickinson, if you would please read item 2 into the record. I don't think your mic is on.
Sorry. Item number 2 is a Board of Public Works report relative to a request to increase budget authority of the Task Force Solicitation Number 200 to Studio Polyfique Architects to provide architectural and engineering design and design services during construction for the Taylor Yard Bikeway/pedestrian bridge over the Los Angeles River project.
Thank you. Mr. Malhus from the Bureau of Engineering.
Hi, good afternoon. To give you a background, The Taylor Yard Bikeway Pedestrian Bridge is a 400-foot-long bridge, steel truss structure, which spans over the LA River, which is going to connect the communities of Elysian Valley to Cypress Park. Now, throughout the design, there has been a shortfall due to just environmental concerns and just review from other agencies. We have to request an additional, we have to have a pier in the center of the river and more complex bikeway ramps leading to and from the bridge. And this has, caused, more costs to the bridge, so we have to increase the authority from the originally negotiated $950,000 to SPFA to $1,110,000. And also there's environmental mitigation fees from the Department of Fish and Wildlife, right-of-way fees, as well as permit plan check fees. So we asked for an additional amount of $500,000 to, allow this, bridge to move forward and to pay for the additional costs for this bridge. Metro will be providing $21.7 million. We initially signed an MOU. We originally signed an MOU for $21.7 million for the construction of the bridge, and the $500,000 from the Public Works Trust Fund will be replenished during the construction phase of the bridge as part of the construction administration fees.
So does that mean that Metro is covering the additional $500,000? Is this just a bridge loan essentially?
Yes, this is a loan, and it'll be replenished and paid back when we go into construction, which is anticipated. We anticipate going into construction August or September of this year, and we will get paid back. The Public Works Trust Fund will get paid back through the construction administration fees. I anticipate the first payment of the $500,000 will occur by the third or fourth quarter of 2018.
Oh, so it's not Metro direct funds, it's the admin fees.
Yes, it's going to be part of construction administration fees. We're going to take a portion of that which is allocated for the project and use that to pay back the Public Works Trust Fund. It may not get paid back all at one shot. It's going to get paid back in increments.
So what's the anticipated payback time? Or when it'll be fully paid back?
Fully paid back, we have, when we talked to the executive officer, we had until latest, 24 months after the inception date, but we anticipate it'll be paid back in full long before then, maybe within a year after it goes into construction. So, yes.
Colleagues? Ms. Martinez?
Related to the first payment of the last quarter, how realistic is it that we're going to get reimbursed?
How realistic?
Yeah, because if we're still amending the design MOU, how realistic is it that we're actually going to get reimbursed?
Oh, we will get reimbursed. We will get reimbursed from the construction administration because we signed an MOU for construction for $21.7 million.
And who's ultimately responsible for the cost controls of the project? Is it Metro or?
Oh, which part of the project did you say?
The actual bridge. Who's responsible for to controlling the cost of the project?
Oh, the project, BOE, Bureau of Engineering.
Okay.
We're the project
So we are.
managers, and Metro is just funding the bridge.
Okay,
Yeah, but we will get reimbursed, for sure.
thanks.
Mr. Root?
We're going to be loaning this out from the Public Works Trust Fund.
Yes.
Is there a threshold for lending for the Public Works Trust Fund?
The threshold, I have to confer with the executive officer on what that threshold is for the accounting. You mean the actual?
Right. I was wondering. The reason I'm asking that question is I wanted to know if we're exceeding that threshold for lending for the Public Works Trust Fund with this loan, because I was told we're very close.
We may be very close. To get the exact information, I have to work with the accountant, public executive officer.
Do we have somebody from Public Works Trust Fund here? I mean,
They would have the most up-to-date information and the most accurate information on that. But they did an executive officer.
okay. I'm sorry, go ahead, because it's a good question,
Yeah.
and we'll get somebody from...
Yeah. So the third question, once we get that answered, is I was wondering if it limits our lending authority for the remainder of the calendar year if we hit that cap.
Yeah, that's something I think the executive officer would know.
Who is the executive officer?
It is Fernando Campos.
We'll get him or someone. So
But just to give you, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
go ahead.
No, just to give you background, they did approve the $500,000, and they were aware of these thresholds. They wouldn't have even approved it to begin with. So they are aware of this.
It's my understanding we're not exceeding the cap, but the question is how close are we getting to it? And
Yeah. And then is it jeopardizing any other projects? Do we have anything else in the pipeline that we need that money for?
Oh, in terms of other projects besides this one.
Right. That we might need the Public Works Trust Fund for.
Yeah, that's something I think that, you know, we have to talk to the executive officer to see what other requests that they got in order to tap into that Public Works Trust Fund.
So while we're waiting for someone for that, do you know, does BOE anticipate the design will be completed when? Oh, great. Okay, so Dr. Campbell's come, but question specifically for you about the design. When is the design going to be completed?
Design is already completed.
Okay, great.
We're in bid and award now.
Perfect. So, Dr. Campos, so with a couple questions, we're talking specifically about this project, but Mr. Rue raised some more general questions about the Public Works Trust Fund, and are we endangering it by, or getting too close to our loan capacity? But I'll ask Mr. Rue if you want to rephrase your question.
So I'm just wondering what the threshold for lending for the Public Works Trust Fund is, and if this project gets near or surpasses that.
Absolutely. Great question. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer with the Board of Public Works. The threshold right now we're setting is at 30%. This loan is right underneath that 30% threshold. It's about 29, I believe almost close to 29% with our projected percentage. So we are not at risk for the Public Works Trust Fund. We're not outside the comfort zone, if you will, for our policy. However, we are getting very close. That 1% delta means that we can lend out approximately $750,000 to $1 million more. We do have one more pre-approved loan that's coming your way probably within the next month. After that loan comes through, then any loan request that comes to my office will be denied until we can recuperate some money.
How much is that next loan that's coming to your office?
It's
for?
$500,000.
About $500,000. So we get even closer, right? So
We are very close.
So, is there any other projects that you expect to see in the pipeline?
There have been other requests from the CAO's office. However, at this point in time, I'm not familiar with the actual project itself or the dollars amounts that are being requested. My response to the CAO's office at this point is that we do not have additional funds to lend out at this time unless we can recoup or have some of those outstanding loans be repaid. In addition to that, there is a Public Works Trust Fund annual report that's coming before your committee. It's not agendized today, but it will be coming before you, which I will go into more details in regards to the health of the Public Works Trust Fund, and also a Nexus study that's coming before you within the next month or so.
So, and we should get paid by the third quarter. This $500,000.
Not exactly, not the full amount. It will come the first payment of it by the fourth quarter of 2018.
I mean, I want to see this bridge happen, and I want to make sure that we need to do to make this bridge happen. But at the same time, if we could get a list of those projects that are in the pipeline or from the CAO's office that might be coming down, because I don't want to put any projects in our districts in the city of LA at risk without this money. But if it's going to get paid back in a couple of quarters, then, you know.
Yeah, I'd be happy to provide that listing before you. And then also the Public Works Trust Fund, the annual report will have an attachment that has the listings that you're asking as well, but we'd be more than happy to provide that for you. In regard to your questions regarding the cash flow, and I think that's the concern, we do have some loans that are coming to us on a quarterly basis, other loan repayments that are coming to us annually. So we do typically recoup about $1 million to $1.5 million in repayments per year. So as soon as we do receive that repayment, then we can lend that out again to keep us under the 30%.
Okay.
Ms. Martinez? No. Okay, I think these are good points, and we're going to look specifically at the Public Works Trust Fund. In the interim, I'm going to recommend that we do approve the recommendations that the Public Works Board put forward. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that will be the order. And we will move now to what items do we have left, Ms. Dickinson? I think there's one more. 5, right? 5. Could you read number 5 into the record, please?
Item number 5 is a Bureau of Engineering report relative to the vacation request of the north-south and east-west alley, southerly of Santa Cruz Street and westernly of Grand Avenue.
Great. This is a street vacation in Councilmember Buscaino's district. His office has worked with the applicant and the Bureau of Engineering to come to an agreement on modified conditions. Specifically, he's asking us to make an amendment to this to request that conditions 8 and 9 be removed from the Bureau of Public Engineering report. Unless there are any questions or concerns, I'm going to recommend that we that we move forward with the removing the conditions per his request and adopt the report as amended. Any questions or comments? No. Okay, that'll be the order. With that, I believe we are... Ms. Dickinson, is there anything else on our docket?
No, the agenda is clear.
Great. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.